All right, I see we are here and we are on. Hello, everybody. Oh, we're a couple of minutes late, but it was for a good reason. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. So come on in and share. We have an incredible conversation with a powerful woman tonight. So we hope that you will share this. We're going to talk about building boundaries and breaking out of boxes. I need you to share this right now with somebody. Let somebody know we're on, and you know how this goes. Say hello to me. Let me know that you're here. I am going to share this a couple of places, and I'm hoping that you're doing the same. Share it with somebody. Let somebody know that we're here. This is about to be an amazing conversation. I need you to share it. All right, I'm getting myself together and sharing. Hello, hello. Come on in and say hello to us. All right, I've got one more place to share it. What about you? Say hello to us. Let us know that you're here. All right, I've done my sharing. Have you all? All right, my name is Trinace Richardson, and I am the founder of Real Women, and we create safe spaces for women to do personal development work on themselves. I am so elated that we have the opportunity every Wednesday night that we have a guest. We get to welcome you into a sneak peek into a real conversation with real women. And this is not just where you listen to us talk. We really want to engage you in conversation. And we really want you to ask questions, make comments so that we can read them and talk together. We want to share together. So go ahead and share this out. I just have one other announcement for you while you're sharing, and then I'm going to introduce this powerful woman. We want to make sure that you know that in this season of COVID, we hope all of you are staying safe and healthy. We are offering you, no matter where you live in the world, sister circles virtually. We normally host them in person in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, but also we travel. We take Real Women on the road, and we've been across the country and abroad globally. But we are right now virtual, and it allows us to share Real Women with you no matter where you live in the world. So we hope that you will join us for our August Sister Circles. We have been all summer tackling some big grown girl topics, literally spirituality of sexuality, self-care after a breakup, healing from guilt and shame, women's sexual health. Those are the kinds of topics we've been dealing with this summer, and we're going to continue it in August. As you want more information and seek more information about us, please go to realwomenrock.org. That's where you want to go, and you'll find information there about our sister circles, as well as if you would like to become a member of our all access membership. So you can attend our virtual sister circles, or you can get connected to us so that you have a connection, an intentional connection with a circle of sisters where you know your business won't be shared with anybody else. It is a safe space. You have an opportunity to let your hair down, no matter what your title or your position is. You have the opportunity to just be who you are without judgment. And so that's who we are. We hope that you will share this with someone and that you will go to our website, realwomenrock.org. Okay. I get the pleasure of introducing y'all. I mean, I know some of you are popping in because you know who I have as a guest, and I appreciate that. So whether you are watching live with us or you are coming for the replay, this woman, not only can she sing, not only can she preach, not only can she motivate others, but she has become a beacon of light because of how God has just moved her journey. And I am just so proud to know her. And before we had the opportunity in women's spaces to be connected, I saw her light before. I knew her personally, and then we have had the honor and the privilege of being in some sacred conversations that have just blessed my whole life. And so, Lili, I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, literally from 1 year to the next of being connected to you, we will have a sacred moment, and it'll just resonate with me until the next time we're able to connect. And I got the t-shirt to prove it. So I love it. Just say hello to the folks. I'm gonna get my birds out of here because while you are introducing yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you for having me. So my name is Lili Wilson of the Beautiful Dawn. It is my pleasure to be here. I'm super passionate about self-love, self-care. I wrote 2 books about it, and it all started off when I just asked myself the question, what would happen if I just intentionally poured love into myself for a year? And so that just started my journey, at least when it comes to self-care, but my journey is broad when it comes to other aspects. But I'm just so happy to be here. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Yay! I'm so happy you're here. We got so much we can talk about. You started with the self-love conversation, and so I'll just start there because we got so many places we can go. Okay. You have written and created even curriculum and group work around what you call the love diet, and it does focus in on self-care and self-love. And I guess I'm wondering what brought you to the place of creating the love diet, and then what it does for folks. And while you're doing that, I would love to know from you all who are watching while she's sharing about her journey to the love diet, where you are on the spectrum of self-love and self-care. Are you at the place where you are taking really good care of yourself? Is it seasonal with you? Is it in and out? Is it a roller coaster ride? Or do you know you are in desperate need of some self-love and self-care? Please put that in the chat while she shares about the love diet.
Well, so for me, my journey is very intricate. Of course, I was raised in the church, and I just had a lot of questions, and I was taught to question. Mm-hmm. But when it came to self-sacrifice, I saw that a lot growing up as a preacher's kid. I saw a lot of strong Black women having to be the strong Black praying woman. I saw a lot of sacrifice when it came to being a pastor, preacher's wife, all of those things. Mm-hmm. And I know I knew better. I knew that something had to give when it came down to being my authentic self. You know, I don't think I've had too much of an issue being bold and being my unique self. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like in church or in those environments, especially if you're in leadership, you're taught to kind of diminish your authentic self. Mm-hmm. So it became very imperative. It was when I was pregnant with my daughter, as a matter of fact, that I was compelled, you know, mm-hmm. It dawned on me that I needed a change. She actually gave birth to me in many ways, and mm-hmm. gave birth to my authenticity. So that's where it started for me, this whole self-love, self-care journey.
Could we, before you actually talk about maybe what the love diet entails, I just want to rest where you started for just a second, because somebody said yummy, the love diet. I love that. And self-love is key. Some folks are really just allowing that to resonate with them. And someone says, I'm getting better every day with intentionally practicing self-care. I love where you started, because you talked about where so many women start, especially Black women, start with the expectations, whether they are family induced or church religion induced, and the expectations would have you be a martyr. It would have you lie your self-care, your health, your time, your marriage, your family, your everything on the altar, and sacrifice it, thinking that you're doing the work of Jesus because you are giving all of yourself to someone else. And so And I love that you started there, because it can exhaust you. It is exhausting to be what other people expect of you and not to live out of who you are at your core.
Yes.
And so I love that you say your daughter birthed you as much or more than you birthed her, because at some point you decide enough is enough.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like that's kind of where you were in that space. And so if you could speak to a little bit of what do you teach in the Love Diet? What as a result of this realization that you had, do you know and do you share with others?
100% self-care and 100% authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
That is the goal and the mission. And I always say that self-love is the best love. When I was doing my research, I went to theology school. I've been preaching and all that stuff since I was like in my late teens.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I noticed about the scripture that talks about loving the neighbor as the self is that it does not talk about how to love the self. And so when I did my research, theologians basically said it's only implied, and basically you're supposed to self-sacrifice. But that didn't sit well with me, because I'm like, how can I love you the way I don't love myself? It's not even in existence. It's not even possible if I don't love myself. How can I love you as I love myself? I mean, it just doesn't exist. I'm just pulling it out of somewhere. What model do I have? Love you the same way I love myself if I don't first have the foundation of loving myself.
And conversely, if I can add to what you're saying, conversely, if my self-care and self-love is piss poor, I can say it like my grandmama would say it, is piss poor, then my love of you, my care for you is going to be piss poor. So there's a reason why they are parallel in that scripture, for a reason, because when you elevate your self-love and self-care, you're literally elevating your level of love of others. I love that. I don't even know if this is supposed to go here, but you just made me think about this idea. It's not supposed to go here. It was supposed to go later, but regardless, I love the fact that you weren't afraid to look at what was given to you conventionally. For example, the interpretation of that scripture, let's just say, and you decided to question it. You decided to dig deeper into it. And so often we hear, you cannot question God. Like, do you, and you can, and it makes me cringe. Now, I remember you said something about being young, and I remember being little and having these questions and just wanting answers to better understand, or even a little older in high school when my grandmother died, just trying to figure out, like, y'all told me to pray and prayer works, and she did not survive her illness. Like, what's up with that? And it irks me, because when I think about how big God is and the fact that he can handle my questions. And some folks would think that my questions would mean that I doubt God, or that no. I'm going to the person. I'm going to the one who can handle my questions. Could you speak to that a little bit? Just how you either intuitively knew, or how you came to the place of being able to ask hard questions. Go ahead. Go there.
So fortunately, I stand on some tall shoulders. Not just my immediate family, but I have spiritual leaders on both sides that were revolutionary in the time in that which they existed. So it's in my blood. My great grandmother, she belonged to, I think, a Baptist church by day, and then she was a spiritualist by night. So I stand on shoulders that are broad, that are universal, that make way for questions and answers. And I'm just fortunate enough, but intuitively, when you say intuitively, I didn't know all of this until I started questioning. So some things just don't sit right. And then some things, just come to you. And, I'm young and I'm a minister, I'm called to ministry, but I feel like there's something else. Like I have all of these other gifts. I hear from the other side, meaning mediumship. I have all of these other peculiar gifts that, wait, don't question God. Like, where does this fit? I'm not about to be a prophet and have $1,000 line, but I hear and I know spirit. And so it's a combination of foundation and DNA, and then add in that intuitive piece and knowing that I'm different. And it's just like, I don't see that in the Bible, at least the way they teach it. I don't see that in there. So something's got to give, because I know what I have is divine and it comes from God.
You got me in here. You know how when you're in church and you get excited and your foot is patting, like my foot is patting because oh my gosh. So let me just ask everybody in here, we getting a whole lot of amens and all that kind of stuff, but I want to ask you all, as I'm responding to what you just said, Lili, how many of you feel like you're different? Like, that you are called to do something amazing and you haven't quite seen the combination of what you're supposed to be doing. And people are trying to box you in as it relates to where it goes. Like, you can sing, so you're supposed to sing here and do it right here in this church house on Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock for praise and worship. And that's where you're supposed to do it. Or you speak and you're supposed to do it right here in this box. And so there are these boxes that people place our giftings in, that people place our callings and our purpose in, that, I'm allergic. It makes me itch, because I love what you just said, that there was more. You knew there was more. It was more than what you had seen. It's more than what you had read, what people had interpreted. And you just intuit that there was more for you. And so for anybody listening who feels like you're different, there's more. You are the prime example. Like, you are a shero in this area of breaking out of some boundaries and boxes. And so I'll come back to the self-love and how that connects with it. But since we're right here, what has that begun looking like for you as it relates to breaking out of boxes so that you can operate in the giftings that God has called you to? Because you sing, so you can do that. You preach, you can do that. What does it look like for you at this point?
Well, what it looked like initially, and as I went through the process, is being open to all facets of myself, because I can't box in the way God will use me either, because I started feeling like, well, maybe I need to come out of the pulpit. But what God has shown me and is showing me is that, yep, you can be over here. And yep, you can be over here. Like, you have all of these giftings and all of these things that I've placed inside of you, and there's a place for all of it. So, I could not just totally abandon the church. So what I know myself to be is a bridge. I know I'm a bridge. I know that, people are inspired because I dare to speak out, because I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm just metaphysical, I'm a psychic, I'm a medium. And then I'm not going to be like, oh, and, I left the church and I'm just embracing indigenous religion. But it's like, no, I still got that shout. I still got that preach over there. I still got that worship. And it's here. It's a full integration, fully empowered, feeling just fully complete in myself and in this body. That's what it looks like to me.
I love it. I love it. And I think you have to, that's a journey, right? That takes that's a journey. Yes. That's a journey. I'll speak to in the same way that you're talking about right now. What I've come to understand is that my voice in song, my voice in speaking and pouring into people, it is for within the church walls and beyond, right? That's for me. It's for within the church walls and beyond. I know some people are called to certain religious confinements, I'll call them, or constraints. I don't feel constrained at all. I feel like God wants to use me out here, just like out out here, he wants to use me. And so I'm just so grateful for that. And I hear and feel that about you. I want to circle this back for a second as I'm waiting for people to share. Do you feel different? And if so, in what ways are you even breaking out of your boxes? What is conventionally thought? You might be the kind of counselor who does unconventional things in your counseling. You might be the kind of teacher who does things out of the box with your teaching, and you haven't seen anybody do it that way before. Whatever you do, how do you do it differently? Do you feel the pull to do it differently? Let us know in the chat so we can read some of those. But I want to circle it back, because in the same way that you have chosen to be a bridge and step outside of confinements related to your calling, when it comes to this self-love piece, really creating boundaries. So literally, we're going to step out and make sure that we're not confining ourselves in some ways. And then we want to also create some boundaries, right? Yeah. And I think that is the ultimate paradox that needs to be explained and discussed. So when it comes to this self-love and self-care, we just talked about a second ago being the martyrs and putting everybody else before ourselves, and we will people please. We will, we will make sure everybody else is okay. So could you speak to how you came to the fact of the importance of creating boundaries and what that might look like for folks?
Wow. So unfortunately, I was not raised to set boundaries, and many of us were not. We were taught that whatever our parents say goes. We were taught that, whatever ministry requires, you just do it. And many times people will give you their behind the kiss, even though you're bending over backwards. So what that has really taught me is that I'm an interrupter, and I am here to shift things in my bloodline. And I'm here to arrest the energy that will have you burn out and will have you feeling like, you have to lay down and allow people to run over you in ministry. It takes place in my home, it takes place in my relationships, in every aspect. You even learning how to set boundaries with my parents. Hello, love them. But you have to set boundaries with actually, even with the philosophies that I've studied, it is an act of God, it is an act of love to set boundaries, because it creates a healthy environment where everyone can thrive. So it just became imperative that, on a larger scale, that boundaries were important when it came to my ministry. And then even on a smaller scale, that I'm able to say no when I need it. I'm able to, understand where I began and where somebody else ends, and just putting that into practice on a daily basis. That is my passion.
The last thing you just said, Lord have mercy, knowing where I begin and someone else ends. The delineation, the boundary, because some of us are so connected, and I'll so connected to, you use parents, we could use children, we could use spouses, we could use, the people we work for or work with, that we lose ourselves. We lose who we are, what we love. You ask a woman oftentimes who she is, and she will say, in relationship to somebody else, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a minister, it's more about function and role and responsibility than being. Then who am I? The I amness is lost. And so I've come to the place, Lili, where if I'm asked it, and I used to be ashamed to even say who I am, because I was trying to hide. I was trying to dim my light. I was trying to make others feel comfortable. I didn't want anybody to think I was being boastful or conceited. Yeah. But there's a difference between conceit and confidence. Because if we don't grab on to who God says we are and who God has created us to be, then we're really being disrespectful to our creator, I think, and we never get to fully walk out things. So I am light. I've been able to adjust my language and my posture to be light. And so my prayer is that when people experience me, that they feel lighter and that they experience light. And I think that's so important for us to come to. It's a becoming, I guess. You know, it's really a knowingness that has to evolve from the inside out. And I love that you have done that. Okay. So if you had to suggest anything as we are rounding things out, and I'm going to read some of what I'm hoping y'all answered some of these questions that I've been putting in here. I'm looking to see. Someone said boundaries are super important. Someone shared, ooh, good. So there's some folks feeling you right now because they're a bridge as well. And you'll have to go back and read these. Somebody said your red room is really blessing them. The root chakra's on fire, girl. They're loving the room. Okay, so I would love for you to share as it relates either to creating boundaries or breaking out of boxes, whatever you want to share. As we are leaving this space, what do you want us to walk away with? If you had to, over all of your experiences, if you had to give us one or two nuggets that we could grab a hold on and begin walking out, what would that be?
What has been resonated with me lately is that I am enough. And I think that when that takes root in you, you don't have to overextend yourself to people please. You are enough by yourself. You don't need to look for external validation. And what that has to do with self-love is that, you know, you can be self-sufficient and really build up your self-esteem and confidence where you can have the voice to say, this is me. Even if everybody else is screaming something else, that you can say, this is me and this is who I am and this is what I like. And it's going to be a no for me with this or a yes for me with that. So just knowing that you are enough as you are in the way God created you, that will sustain you and allow you to blossom in self-love and self-care. And it will also help you create boundaries. Because you'll understand that what you do is enough and you don't have to be a doormat. You don't have to kill yourself trying to please anyone or to make somebody else feel comfortable, and let that light shine. Let it shine.
That is so good. So good. Some of us need to say it over and over again. Some of us need to write it over and over again, put it up somewhere where we can see it, because if we haven't believed it, we've got to tell it to ourselves over and over again so it can rise up inside of us. I love that. I am enough. Somebody just really needs to breathe that in and say that today out loud to yourself. I am enough. I love that. And we've got some folks repeating that right now. I love me. I'm confident in who I am. I love this because what this means, Lili, is your journey. And I know you do it in so many ways, but I'm so grateful that you've taken these few minutes to do it with me and with the women and the audience that we have tonight and beyond and during the recording, because it means that your journey just spills over and overflows to other folks so that the lessons that you've learned, we get to experience and learn from as well. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to know where can folks find you? What resources do you have to share? If folks want to experience more of you, any services, anything you want to share with us, please do.
Yes. So you can find me at I am Lili Wilson, and that's on Instagram, Twitter. You can look me up on Facebook as well. And I'm also, I have my own website, www.liliwilson.com, Lili Wilson. And I talk to people about building bridges. If you're coming out of traditional religion and you want to connect with something else, I don't tell you how. We just talk it through, and I kind of like provide a support system for that. Angel card readings, tarot, little mediumship might come in through there. And also, I almost finished my certification, my 200 hours in yoga training. So listen, it's all that. It's all that. So in a session with me, we might, prescribe some heart opening poses or something. Just, yeah, I'm
Yay.
all of
Go
that.
yoga, go yoga. I love it. Thank you so much. I have put your information in the chat. And so your website as well as your perfume.
Open this up.
I think that's the baby. But yeah, thank you so, so much for this time. I am so grateful for all of you all tuning in for Lili's time. We just give you a real quick taste, a quick conversation. Go ahead, baby girl. She fine. Let her wave.
Tapping, you want to say hi?
Hi, girl. You. Y'all show that girl some love. There we go. There goes some of the hearts. Yay. Yay, Pooh. So we just thank you for your time. You get the opportunity to get a sneak peek into a real conversation with real women every Wednesday night that we have a guest. You get to be a part of the conversation. And in between this time, we'd ask that you would go to realwomenrock.org and check us out there so that you can get some information about our next virtual sister circles. No matter where you are welcome to join us. You're welcome to become a part of our membership. Our all access membership for Real Women is always open to you all. We stay connected every month of every year, and so you would be connected to a sisterhood that allows you to be who you are. And you got to go to lilywilson.com so that you can check out all that she has to offer. Baby girl, remind me of her name, Lili.
Alaya Mary.
Alaya Mary.
Instagram, everybody.
Oh, say it again, Alaya.
Follow me on Instagram.
Follow that girl on Instagram, y'all. I know that's right. Thank you so much for your time. I love you. Come back and look at all the beautiful comments. You may want to read them to baby girl. We really appreciate your time. You guys, we will see you. Go to dinner, go to your loved ones, do some self-care and self-love tonight. How about that? We appreciate you. We'll see you on next Wednesday. Bye-bye. Bye, Aaliyah Marie.
Thank you for having me. Much
Thank
love.
you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.